Okay, hello Cloud Gurus and welcome. As we go through this lecture, please follow along on your own copy of the Google Cloud Developers Cheat Sheet. So right off the bat, when we look at this cheat sheet, we see that it's divided up into a whole bunch of different categories. We have compute products, storage products, networking products, management tools, developer tools, all sorts of things. And in each section, we have a list of a number of different Google Cloud products. So first off, why are these products and services grouped in this way? Well, okay, fundamentally, the key reason for this organization is because it's what Greg Wilson, who put the original version of this document together, decided to use. He thought it would be useful. But why did he feel that this is a more useful organization than, say, sorting everything alphabetically or listing them by how recently they've been released? I mean, if you know absolutely nothing about the product, then a full alphabetical list is probably the easiest way to find it. And if you're trying to stay up to date, then maybe you just want to look at the ones that are most recent, right? But that's not what this is for. Each one of the products listed here is like a piece of a puzzle. They fit together, both with each other and with other parts of your system. But they're not quite like the 500-piece puzzle that you might buy at a store and put together to make one exact picture. These are a lot more like Lego bricks. They're building blocks. Now, every one of these blocks has a different shape. They serve different functions. You can think of each one of these sections like a bucket of Lego bricks. Imagine that one of the buckets has a whole bunch of those huge flat sheet pieces, the kind of piece that you use as a foundation for the rest of what you're building. And another bucket might have a whole bunch of tiny and flexible pieces. They're really useful for certain circumstances, but they take forever if you want to build something big out of just those. And most of the other buckets are a bunch of generally useful pieces. In the Lego world, that's like the 2x2s, 2x4s, 2x8s, 1x10s, wheelbases, all sorts of things like that. When you're building something out of blocks, you need to pick a block with the right shape. And in a weird kind of way, these groups are kind of the shapes of the different products. Now, I'd like to point out 3 important categories. Without fail, every single system in IT revolves around data flow. It's taking data or information and it's moving it around, processing it, and remembering it. So most systems will require some amount of support for compute, storage, and networking or messaging. But there's more than that. It's not such a clean division. There's actually quite a bit of overlap. An easy example is a database that combines both compute and storage, and in that way really creates quite a valuable category of its own. Sure, it's remembering data, but when you ask it for data, it's also doing processing, filtering all the data down to just the part that you're interested in, and transforming it so that it's in a format that you can use. And in fact, if you have replication set up for your database, then it's also moving the data from one place to another. And some other categories are a little bit less about the shape of the different services and a bit more about the theme. For example, the section called Data and Analytics Products lists a whole bunch of services that you're likely to use together. Kind of like how if you were building with Legos, you might have one bucket that is the space theme, where you have lots of gray pieces and computers that you can use to build spaceships. Those pieces aren't all the same shape, but they go together in a really useful way. Now, continuing on with this Lego analogy, there are 2 specific line items that I want to call out. The first one is in the Management Tools Products section called the Cloud Deployment Manager. The cheat sheet calls this Templated Infrastructure Deployment. This product is kind of like buying a box of Lego pieces with instructions to build a particular thing. You get all the pieces you need listed in the template, and just pushing a few buttons winds up building the whole thing. But this is your template, and you can change it however you want. Just like with a Lego set, you might combine several things together, you might chop some stuff out, you might swap some pieces out for something else. It's entirely up to you. But the Cloud Deployment Manager is a pretty important thing to understand because of how it fits into everything else. The next thing that I wanted to call out is in the API Platform and Ecosystems section. In particular, the GCP Marketplace is a partner and open source marketplace. This also has sets of pieces all packaged together, but a difference here is that instead of you controlling all of the details and building it yourself, the GCP Marketplace is more about buying completed things that might even all be glued together so that you can't take them apart. I hope that makes sense to you, and if it doesn't, then please let me know. But in any case, let's move on to taking a look at some of the specific ones. And who knows, maybe that'll help it click for you if you didn't get it already anyway. Well, alright, I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks.